Tales from the Griff, your Tales from the Crypt podcast miniseries here on the Film Alchemist Podcast Network, the ever-growing economic behemoth that is snaking its tendrils through the 1%, so that when America collapses and falls apart, we'll be there to reap the benefits of the wasteland that is our laws and institutions.
My name is Alex. My
if there's ever a good...
blood.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, Mandino's gone insane. Yeah, that's the thing. If America's going to just like not be a thing anymore, all we can do is prepare our fucking post-apocalypse.
I'm Mad Max in this bitch. That's what I'm
exactly. Doing. Who runs Bottom City? The Podcast Film Alchemist Network? Maybe. We might be good. I'm already stockpiling a semi full of tit milk, and I'm ready to live like a goddamn warlord.
My wife, I'm going to shave Andrea's head, and she'll be an imperator.
There you go. Nice. Yeah. I don't know what Amy would be. Amy could be one of those dudes that huffs the fucking spray.
No, she'd be an imperator for sure.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah. Good for her. Way to step up.
You've got the long hair, a Morton Griff.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah. Get my nippies pierced. It's time for war. Sorry, guys. Yeah. We record these in advance, as you know. Last night was the first presidential debate. There is something stark about let's watch our scary TV program, Tales from the Crypt, for a podcast. And then you were like, oh, God, no. Oh, God, no. And you're like, the real world becomes so much scarier.
I actually found these quite the relief from the,
I was like,
the horror show we saw last night.
Yeah, there's a world where people just get murdered for being bad. I will say this. We don't do a lot of politics on this show. I think the pod's going to get a nice little boost because I think hashtag the Crypt Keeper is going to trend. So I think we are poised to get some of that Biden's remains spill. Sorry, guys.
So
it's not
in that case, thanks,
Jesus
you old
Christ.
grampy bitch who doesn't know how to debate people. Anyways.
That's right. So on a less terrifying note, let's talk about Season 4, Episode 4, Tales from the Crypt, Seance.
Yeah, Seance, see?
Some interesting things about this episode, written by Night Court's own Harry Anderson. It's kind of cool.
Love it.
We've got Kathy Moriarty, Ben Cross, Ellen Crawford, and John Vernon. What I like about this show, this episode's pretty solid. We start with a fun, like, Humphrey Bogart crypty.
Love it.
That was kind of fun. I was like, what was this voice John Kassir was doing? Like, what kind of needle was he trying to thread in the, I still have to do the, like, horribly nasally high thing, but then I was like, yeah, she's a dame.
It's like Humphrey Bogarty. Like a little Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's a straight-up Humphrey Bogart riff, but in the voice of the Crypt Keeper, which is fucking fun. And I'll say that that's kind of the thing that carries through this episode that I enjoyed is there's like a real fun kind of like whip snap timbre to how this episode pops off, the dialogue, right? Because as the mystery, quote unquote, unfolds, again, we're doing the exact same thing as the last episode, or one of the last episodes, right? Where it's like, let's start at the fucking end. This is not starting at the very end. It's starting like 3 minutes before. That's how Tales from the Crypt likes to do it, right? Just like our Chemical H episode. Let's start 3 minutes from the end, go back and be like, how did I get mixed up with this crazy broad?
Right.
Then you go back and do the show, and then you come back and there's like 3 minutes of a scare left, right? So, fucking hate that. Hate that. But, really fun little kind of, like, Kathy Moriarty's crushing this episode, right?
Yeah.
And so she's doing they're practicing a fake seance, right? I am the transition. What do you wish to tell us? The candle flame goes up. You see a robed figure. And she's like, God damn it, you missed your mark. And they start kind of going at it.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, they're setting this old lady up for a fraud, right? Then we go back in time and see what the ruse really was, which is Ben Cross plays a shady lawyer. She is or is not John Vernon's cousin. I think they're supposed to be actual cousins. So that part kind of I was a little confused on if their ruse was based in truth or lies. Because John Vernon constantly says, like, I don't believe any of this. Yeah. I'm just here to bang.
I'm just here to fuck my cousin, apparently. Yeah.
Kissing cousins. And it's like, that's more than kissing, sir. I don't know what they called it back in the day. You're doing an awful lot more than kissing while that dude's in the closet taking photogs of everything.
I think that the cousin thing's part of the story. I don't think they're actually cousins.
Okay, because that's what I was confused, because they're
it's part of
playing
the
it.
overall
So
thing.
essentially their long ruse is when they're busted, John Vernon's like, did I catch you in your latest turn of trick?
Yeah.
And so it seems like they do this like cousin fake money all the time. The problem is, where does this money come from this mysterious bank robbery thing? Or is that suitcase at the end John Vernon's own money where he's like, I'm going to bring this to buy you, the lawyer, out? Because if so, that seems like a really like long roundabout kind of ruse rather than just actually blackmailing him with naked photos.
I think it's the former because, like, to me, the idea is you blackmail him for the money, and then it's just like happenstance that he dies in the elevator shaft.
So that part, yeah, completely. What I'm saying is the ruse of, her daddy, your uncle, was a bank robber, and this bank has $2 million, but it was started with this illegal money, and we had to keep it hush hush, blah blah blah. And I just want my 10% because he was my friend. And she's like, "Hey, come to my apartment. Oops, we're cousins," and just like spreads him open.
Bangs.
And he's like, "Oops, I tripped and fell dick first into my cousin." You're like, there's a lot of like, whoops-a-daisy, how did this happen? Like the con of this episode.
The actual con is very
makes
confusing.
no fucking sense to me. At all.
It's not a great con.
Because then they have backup cons. They're like, this plan's pretty convoluted. Our backup con is let's just get pictures of fucking John Vernon's bulbous ass plowing into his
just
cousin.
banging his cousin. Yeah. I do like the idea.
Double secret cousin boning. It's like, what? Oh, my God. Oh, my
I do like
God.
the idea that the backup plan is, I guess we'll just, I don't know, get him to fuck his cousin, and then we can totally get the money. Like,
yeah, then we'll just go to his
Solid.
wife. It's like, it feels like at the end they're like, damn it, we should have just targeted the blind wife first. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, they definitely.
Well, I guess her being blind wouldn't have any reason why she would like believe their poppycock story anymore.
There's definitely a sense of buyer's remorse on the once they meet the blind wife, like, oh, I fucked my fake cousin. Great, that wasn't cool. But I gotta say, like,
Well, then the next day he shows up with the little Vince McMahon walk, and he's like, here's a briefcase of money. Get out of our lives.
yeah. Well, I think the other thing that I don't understand is, okay, this convoluted sort of con they're putting together. Like, excuse me, the B squad idea was the simple blackmail. You should have just gone with the first. You should have gone with the B.
Well, and then even
B should be
plot
A.
C is wait, he's got a blind wife. Let's run a seance. You're like, that's even better. That's like a classic. Like when they started at the seance, I was like, yes, that's a classic Tales from the Crypt.
I feel like the B and C ruses should have been number one. Like,
yeah, I feel like we could have taken out the weird, like, One-Eyed Willie's treasure map story.
Yeah,
it's like, start with the photog taking pictures of you banging your cousin.
Didn't make any sense.
And then get on with it, right? The elevator gag was pretty good.
Oh, no.
I was a little
elevator gag
confused
was
because
awesome.
she whips out a gun and she's like, I'm going to fucking shoot him in this hallway. And you're like, there is at minimum 2 extras that they walk past in that hallway that just see all this and they're like, mum's the word. And they
this is
disappear
the
because the cops are like, their story checks out. This guy just like walked straight into an elevator shaft.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
then
in
got
the 30s,
squished and his fucking intestines came back up. They had nothing to do with this.
Isn't like it's like the 30s, so forensic evidence is like, I don't know, that guy thinks he saw it. Well, that's good enough for me. That's the end of that.
Yeah, the guy's like, I don't know if this is all adding up. And the inspector's like, do you see it out of order, sign, Rook? Exactly. Another man brought down by poor signage. It's like, that's why you're the detective and I'm the Rook bitch. I thought it was all about, the suitcase of money. Like, my bad.
Being a detective in the 1930s, like, especially like if you watch other noir movies, like being a detective in the 1930s is essentially like, do you rip darts nonstop? Do you smoke? Do you drink black coffee and swill gin or whiskey?
God, I always feel
You're a
like
detective.
That was my era. I missed out on being like a sleazy detective.
Nah, I don't think you would have been able to do the sleazy detective.
Good, dude.
I think you would have been more.
good.
You would have more of an. You know what? Like if we're gonna
Wisecracking, drinking out of the bottle, ripping darts, trying to wrestle strange women as I get mixed up in their personal picadillos.
I use the LA Confidential archetypes a lot of the time, and you definitely would have been a Bud White. I think.
No, come on, dude.
You would have been a Russell Crowe for sure.
No.
You would have barehanded broken a wooden chair and then like stuck a gun in someone's mouth to get a confession.
See, that is cool, but that feels like real. I think I'd rather be like Humphrey Bogart, like, hit me, all right? Just let me feel something. I don't care. Right? Just get back to my drink.
Just getting your balls stomped on in 1935. Yeah, that makes sense.
Good luck. You're going to need bigger boots, bro. I think I would have been a great wisecracking alcoholic detective.
I legitimately... Okay, when they get to the seance...
So what does that
part,
make you? Are you a Kevin Spacey detective?
No, I'm definitely an Exley. I mean, I'm a pencil pushing dickhead for sure. Yeah. That's me. Yeah, I know my brand.
You're Kevin Spacey from Glengarry.
Yeah,
maybe
definitely.
you should just not be a Kevin Spacey character.
Let's not be a Kevin Spacey.
Maybe we could just go with a different filmography.
I was saying I was a Guy Pearce, and let's just leave it at that.
So I was saying that not at all to be insulting because it's early in the morning and my coffee hadn't kicked in, and then I go, it sounds like I'm just saying Alex is more Kevin Spacey than the characters he plays.
Kevin Spacey roles.
Maybe a Kaiser Sose, Alex. Is that you? Maybe you work at fast food and you're tired of your bitch wife. No, your Alex is not like Kevin Spacey.
Thank you.
As far as I know.
As far as I know, too.
Yeah, if you got evidence, step up. But I believe in my friend.
I'm pretty boring. I will say this. Okay, so
So maybe you're Alan Arkin in Glengarry. That's okay.
I'm definitely an Alan Arkin type.
There we go. That's the non.
No one should talk to me like that.
Equivalent.
No one should talk to me like that. No one.
Yeah.
And then you walk out.
Yeah.
I got to say this. So after the elevator shaft gag, which is awesome, the seance thing
great. I love the intestine. I love them like, help me.
Awesome.
Shut the fuck up. And then he gets
totally
squished
awesome.
and his guts come back up. That was really fun.
When they get to the seance part, I was like, holy shit, they're still doing this? Like, they got the money. Go.
This was kind of the miss of the thing because he's just like, I can't stand you, blah. And she's like, wait a sec, we got the money. Let's reboot with just, like, their whole ruse is set in a, lawyer's office. I was like, man, they turned around that seance set quick. Costumes, everything, effects. Like,
you got effects, stews,
so it
all
kind
kinds
of hints
stuff.
that they must have had an entire like operation of ruses. But this episode is pretty great. The problem is it's so disjointed that it drops a lot for me. Because again, also when it's an episode called The Seance with con people, nothing you do is going to be better than what happens in that seance room.
Yeah.
And I think that's still, like, that seance scene is still better than everything else in the movie. Like, faking a seance is better than faking a mysterious uncle robbing. But you have a great cast. You have a great script. The cousin banging is a nice little throwaway.
Yeah.
I will say, John Vernon was so cavalier. He's like, I don't know for sure if you're my cousin or not.
I don't know, but I'm going to test it
happening. Yeah, that's like... Dude, if there's like a 10% chance it's your cousin, you should probably not do that.
Yeah. Is this a normal thing for you?
I know it's Kathy Moriarty, but dear God, like, I know he's also one of those, like, the old wolf. It's like, how many fucking injured fawn am I going to find in the wild? I don't know. Also, there's like a whole Daredevil scenario. Where, like, he goes home and his old man dong just smells of cousin. Yeah. He probably smells a lot anyways because people wore full suits back then. Yeah, but his wife, like, wakes up. She's like a cartoon floating on, like, the scent. And she's like, pussy. And just, like, knows he immediately did it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I actually,
there's a lot of ways this episode could have gone.
I'll say this. Other than the intestine effect, my other favorite part is when Vernon comes back, he basically reveals himself.
Yeah, literally no explanation for this.
No explanation.
Ben Cross's character goes in the closet and is waiting to come out for his line, and then he comes out and it's the actual voice of John Vernon. His wife, the bagman are there, and he's just
the lawyer.
Yeah, and it's actually just John Vernon with Ben Cross's head in a suitcase. He's like, I wanted to deliver this personally. And I was like, what? Huh? What?
But my favorite moment is when it's revealed, John Vernon's revealed, and the lawyer is the lawyer's like narrating for the blind wife and goes, "It's your husband. He's looking particularly piquant." I'm like, "Are you serious, dude?" You are straight faced telling this woman that her dead husband's back, and he's just like, not looking great.
Piquant. Well, yeah, that guy,
That's the
if
phrase.
he is there as like a handler, if you're a blind rich lady, you're not having some fucking monosyllabic fool as
That
your
guy
tra-
might-
That
that guy
guy's
might be the
saying words
bravest
like
guy ever.
piquant. Like, imagine hearing the word piquant and the
Yeah.
way, like in Ratatouille, right? Like when the right flavor just fills your
just-
void with like color and shit. Like this guy's painting a fucking beautiful picture, right? She's getting the full effect. I think
So I gotta
that
say, her
good
like
casting.
her like body man, probably the bravest dude I've ever seen in my life. Like he saw an actual ghost. He's like, he looks quite piquant.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have enough wherewithal to like verbiage like that? Good for you.
grab your stick, bitch. We're getting out of here. That's what I did. We're fucking running right now. Yeah, I don't know, because there are some things. Like there are some great lines, right? When they're sitting there at the first debating if they're gonna go through it, and he's like, "You got spiders in your veins."
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, and you tangle in my webs, baby." Or then she's like, "I know you miss it with me," and he's like, "The only thing I miss is the showers afterwards." And I was like, "Damn, what?"
Was your first thought too when she said that? Because mine was, do they shower together too? Because that's weird. Like, yeah.
No, I thought it was just like stone cold, dude. Like I just like watching the stank of you off of me.
Yeah.
Or is that like, have you just not taken a shower since? Like, that seems easy to remedy.
That would
but
also
either way,
make sense.
it's honestly like the script is sharp, the dialogue is sharp, the cast is great. The problem is there's just this unnecessary fucking bulbous appendage to the movie that kind of derails us a little bit because we never really know. I feel like they should have just simplified the con straight to the seance.
Yeah.
And if you want to do a previous bit of we set this guy up, he fell in an elevator, like right at the hotel, right after we banged and he realized there were photos, right? Because they have that bit where like he hums the weird song and that's how John Vernon catches him.
Yeah.
You could have done all that in that one hotel room as like the second scene of the show and then had more time at the seance to explain why he comes back as a ghost. Why, if you come back as a ghost, do you want to be in the costume? Like, there's things that I think could have been done better and not so truncated had we taken out that weird extra layer that just doesn't matter.
Right.
But really what it comes down to is the kind of just whip sharp dialogue with a great cast. That's what I'll remember this episode.
Great script and a great cast. I think what's interesting about this is we're 4 seasons in, and I do think we're hitting this sort of.
He does rip her heart out. We totally forgot that too.
Oh yeah,
Might call this a bait and switch. It's like, damn, dude.
Yeah, there was some pretty. I mean, like again, there's some good like blood effects, a little cool gore.
Yeah,
I do think we're 4 seasons in though. We are starting to hit like mid episodes, like just all like a lot of mids where you're like, all right, that was fine. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Like-
it feels like we're to that point now. It's going to be fewer and far between where like, oh my god, this feels new
Exceptionally
and
awesome,
interesting.
yeah.
But again,
Not a
this
bad
is
thing,
kind of
but-
a classic Tales from the Crypt. We killed someone, they came back and killed us.
Yeah,
But
We're
it
back in the
has
pocket.
really great elements. I think that's this show, not perfect, but it has really strong elements that make it a super fun watch, right? What I used to tell Cloud is this was like a appointment viewing thing back then. So like you would be like, you had to watch it then or else, we didn't have all the shit you have now.
right.
And so I was like, if you like stayed in to watch this show and missed something else, would you have been mad? You're like, no, you wouldn't have been mad at this one. This one's fun. That's it for the seance. That's not it for season 4, Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Griff. We'll be back next week with another thrilling adventure. Guys, this is all in service of the build-up to the October Mega Marathon. We're filling the coffers with horror content for all the people that find us every October. So if you can do us a favor and help spread the word on all this, spread the TikToks, the Instagrams, all that kind of bullshit we always ask of you, we would greatly appreciate it. More than anything, guys, thanks for being here. We love you, our Kurgan and Highlander level patrons. We love you. You're the lifeblood of the show. We'll see you next time. Say goodbye, Mandingo. Mandino. I know we're corporate warlords now, but